today's video I'm just going to talk about Fantasmic at Disneyland. It is a similar concept to Fantasmic at Walt Disney World, if you've ever seen that. It happens on the rivers of America, so you have got like a crescent shape of water, and then you've got Tom Sawyer Island in the background with a stage at the front. Now during the day I found this really interesting. It's just part of Tom Sawyer Island. You can just go over to the island, you can walk around. You actually walk across the stage where all of the effects happen, where Mickey pops up, where he disappears, where the dragon comes up. It's all there. It's incredible. Obviously the lighting structures and stuff, they come up during the evening when the island is closed to guests. But for the rest of the day you can go around and have a look, and I did have a look in the floor to see if I could see any trapdoors or anything, but there is nothing there that would scream to you, ooh, this is a special effect. Really, really good. I absolutely loved Fantasmic at Disneyland. I love Fantasmic at Walt Disney World, but this is 100 times better. This is next level Fantasmic. It's incredible. I don't want to spoil it too much if you haven't seen it and you're watching this for planning tips. If you really want to see what the show entails, then watch my Disneyland vlogs, because they will actually have the videos of Fantasmic when I went to see it. So I don't want to go into great depths about what actually happens in the show, because I'm aware that people might be watching this without actually having been to Disneyland yet, so I don't want to give any of that away. So there are 3 ways that you can get viewing for Fantasmic. The first is standby. Now, standby is just you walk up. The way that it works around the edge of Rivers of America, around New Orleans Square and Frontierland, is there's sort of 2 levels of standing. The walkway around the crescent shape of the river is kind of on 2 levels. One level is about 3 steps higher than the other. So you could stand at the back, I believe, anywhere along there, and you can watch. However, you are going to have a sea of people in front of you. And when I went for my dining package about an hour before it started, there were people who were already very comfortable with where they were sat on the steps. It was about 4 or 5 people deep already, so they'd probably been there, I would say, an hour and a half to 2 hours in order to get that viewing. I don't actually think, now when I went it was supposed to be off-peak, but it was actually really busy because there was a conference on, and it was a lot busier than it should have been for that week of the year. I don't think it's necessary to go standby for Fantasmic, because there are 2 other options, which I'll talk about now, that actually give you a better view. So the first time that I watched Fantasmic, and I actually thought this was going to be the only time, because when I made my plans originally I was going to be in the park Sunday to Thursday, and then Friday was going to be a non-Disney park day. With the extra Star Wars ticket, that gave me Wednesday evening, and I didn't want to waste a day's ticket just on the half day before the party started. So I decided to keep that entry and use it on the Friday. So I actually got 6 days of entry. The plus of that meant that obviously on the Friday night they were doing Fantasmic, because they tend to only do Fantasmic on Friday, Saturday and Sunday nights. Particularly off-peak. I think during the summer they will do it every night, but while I was there it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So being in the park Sunday to Thursday, my plans were that the Sunday was going to have to be Fantasmic. Because that was going to be my one time seeing it, I wanted to make sure that I was going to get a good view, and not ever having been before, I went for a dining package. Now there are 2 types of dining package. There is the regular dining package like you will find in Walt Disney World, where you go to a restaurant, you sit down, you eat your meal, and then you go to Fantasmic and you get a preferred viewing area. For the sit-down restaurants, you get slap bang in the middle, right on the bend of the crescent basically, right opposite the stage. Premium viewing. However, it is floor seating, so you will have to sit on the floor. And you will still need to arrive fairly early if you want to be sat at the railings at the edge of the water. We'll talk about that, about where to sit a little bit later. The other option is what I went for. Because I'm by myself, I didn't really want to do a big sit-down meal in a big expensive restaurant when I was just by myself. I don't mind doing it when I'm with other people. It's kind of lucky that I did, because it was a really expensive trip in terms of spending money. I ate far too many snacks and spent too much money. So the other option is the quick service, so that it's a dining package on the go. You reserve your dining package, and it's the Hungry Bear restaurant in Critter Country, and you just go to the restaurant at your allotted time. There's a reserved cashier separate to the rest of the restaurant. You go up to the cashier, you give your name and your booking time, and they will give you your voucher, and then you go and order what you want. So they'll give you a special menu, because it's not the main menu in the restaurant. It is a special restricted menu for Fantasmic, and you pick what you want off that. They'll ring it through the till, and then they send you off to wait at the window. You then get given your meal in a brown paper bag, so you get your drink and your food comes in like a little plastic, not a Tupperware pot, but like a plastic container, like a salad container. And you can sit in the restaurant and you can eat it there and then, or you can take it away. When I was sat in the viewing area, there was actually somebody sat in the viewing area eating their food, which is a really good idea, because then that time where you're just sat waiting doing nothing, you're actually eating your dinner, which means you didn't waste time earlier eating your dinner and you've gone and done something else. So that's something to bear in mind. It might be a good idea to book your reservation time close to the start of the Fantasmic wait time, so that you can then go and sit and eat it while it's hot. In terms of the food was fine. It was nice food, it was good quality food. I had the barbecue chicken, which came with rice. The only thing I would say is that it's expensive for what it is. Even by Disney standards, it was quite expensive. Even more so when I actually compared the viewing area that I was in to the Fast Pass viewing area, which we'll talk about in a second. So I ate my dinner. It was lovely. It was really, really nice. It was fine. And then I went off and did a load of other stuff, because my dinner time was at 6:30 and Fantasmic was at 10:30. So I ate, and then I get a return time, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was between 9:45 and 10:30 or 10:15. I got there towards the end of my comeback time, basically, whenever it was. And the area for the dining on the go was pretty much full. So there was people, the walkway up to the railings is where you sit, and there's a roped off area. You have to show your ticket that you get given, and then you queue up and you go in. Now, actually, it had filled up from the front to the back, as you would expect, but right on the edge of where you're allowed to sit, there was space at the back. So I just went and stood. That put me fairly central, and because the ground slopes down, you are looking out over everybody else. But you are a fair way away from the water. It was my first time seeing Fantasmic. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. There are a couple of extra bits in it that made me go, whoa, it's incredible. And it was nice to be sat down throughout. Everybody stays seated, which was brilliant. They did do the Pixar Fest fireworks almost immediately afterwards, and they actually project the Pixar Fest stuff onto the back of the island as well, like they do on the castle, along with the fireworks in the background, so you can still see the fireworks. That's a really nice touch. I really like that, because you get both shows. You don't have to go to the castle show to watch that, because they do project it on the Rivers of America as well. So that was really worth staying there for. However, they did make everybody stand during the fireworks. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know, maybe it's because they open up the walkways a little bit more after Fantasmic. But for Fantasmic, it's seating on the floor, and for the fireworks, it's stand up and watch. The whole area is completely closed off, so you have nobody walking around. You are just sat on the floor. So I sort of positioned myself between two people so I could look between them and up and over, and that was absolutely fine. The other final way to watch Fantasmic is to get a Fast Pass. Works exactly the same way as the old paper Fast Pass system. You need your park ticket, and you need to go to the Fast Pass machine, which is situated next to the Mark Twain riverboat landing. If you're walking from Frontierland, it's just to the left of the riverboat landing, as if you were walking down to Norlands Square. It will be down there, and it's just a Fast Pass machine. There is a cast member there with it. If there are 2 showing times, they start distributing the Fast Passes for the earlier show first. When those run out, they start distributing Fast Passes for the second show. So I went along. I'd completely forgotten about Fantasmic at all on the Friday. It wasn't in my consciousness at all. I just knew that the park was open till midnight, and I was just going to do the park until midnight. I hopped over to California Adventure in the afternoon, and then I hopped back again. Now, I was walking through Frontierland in the morning, and I was like, oh, I could actually see Fantasmic again tonight. I'd watched the Pixar Fest fireworks for a second time during the Star Wars night before that started, and I prefer Fantasmic, so I thought, yeah, I'm going to watch Fantasmic again. I'm going to get a fast pass. So I went up, got a fast pass. I checked with the cast member beforehand because I didn't want to get a fast pass for it and then not be able to get any fast passes for the rest of the day. But your Fantasmic fast pass does not interfere with any other fast pass bookings for the rest of the day. So whereas in Walt Disney World you get 3 fast passes, and if one of those 3 fast passes is Fantasmic, you can't book anything else for the rest of the day. Or if you later on in the day then decide to get a Fantasmic fast pass, you can't book anymore. The Disneyland Fantasmic fast passes are completely independent to any other fast pass. So my ticket for the 10 o'clock show said return between the 10:30 show said return between 10 and 10:30. Now I really like this because this gives you half an hour max before the show starts. Whereas in Florida, your return time could be an hour before the show starts, which actually, what's the point of using that fast pass if you could just walk in standby an hour before anyway and have used fast passes for something else? It doesn't make sense. I really like the fact the fast pass window is only half an hour before the show starts. I went back to the river landing probably just before 10:05, and there was a queue back out. They had a queue zigzagging inside the landing, and the queue was out back towards Big Thunder Mountain. So it was a fairly long queue, and I thought, oh dear, I've made a mistake here. But never mind, fireworks go up, you don't need to sit. They hold the line until it was I don't know how long it was. I stood there, maybe 5 minutes. And then they opened the line at the front, and that goes into a viewing area which has been cordoned off. And it is to the right-hand side, the Frontierland side of the Fantasmic stage, near the riverboat landing. And I thought, oh, actually, the riverboat landing is really to the side. Am I actually going to get much of a view? And what happens is the people at the front of the queue obviously go as far along as they can along the riverbank, which takes them towards the stage. And I was really lucky because the majority of the people took the decision to go all the way as far as they could towards the stage, which made the crowd nearer the stage deeper. What that meant was that further along there was space along the fence. There was only a gap between 2 people. It wasn't really a gap, but in the 15-20 minutes before the show started that we were waiting, they did kind of move apart. And one guy was actually sat sideways on the fence, and when it started he turned and stood up. So I actually did get a fence line front row view of Fantasmic. You are maybe a metre away from the edge of the water at this point. There are trees in certain points, and I was just to the left of a tree. If I'd have been a bit further along, maybe the tree might have been in the way of some of the fireworks. I could have walked further along and been more central, but I would have had people in front of me. I had a front row view. I was to the side and I was looking across to the side of the stage, diagonally across to the stage, but the view was fantastic, and when the stuff happens out on the river, you are so close. It's incredible. You're really close. Much, much closer than you get when you do the dining package seating area. For that reason, I much prefer the fast pass area. The only thing I would do differently is if I had a 10 to 10:30 return time, I would probably get there about 10:45, 10 to 10, and make sure that I was at the front of the line inside the landing so that I was one of the first people to go in, because then I could be further along. I'm glad I made the choice I did though. I think I made the right choice. I wasn't going to get a good view if I'd have gone further to the centre of the stage. Yes, okay, I would have been looking more directly across the stage to where Mickey and the dragon are, but I would have been a lot further back. I would have had sort of heads in front of me. Where I was at the fence. I was right on the water pretty much. I had a clear view of the stage, so it didn't matter that I was slightly across from the side. So from my point of view, personally, based on the fact that I've done the dining package and I've done the fast pass, I would recommend the fast pass. And it wasn't early that I went and got a fast pass. I think it was just before lunchtime, and they still had fast passes available. So if you really wanted to see Fantasmic, just go to the fast pass as soon as the park opens, grab your fast pass, it will take you 30 seconds, and then you're set for the rest of the day. Just turn up half an hour before. I thought it was really good, and the view was really, really good as well. So if you are going to Disneyland and you want to do Fantasmic, I think option 1, Fast Pass, because the Fast Pass gets you closer to the action. Get there 10-15 minutes before your return time and you'll be at the front to get a really good close view. If you don't do that, sit down dining gives you the next best view. However, if you don't want to pay for sit down dining, do the Hungry Bear quick service dining package on the go, and that will also give you seating. The two areas for the two dining packages are side by side, so actually if you sit on the edge of the to-go, you're pretty much sat next to somebody that's paid for the sit down, and there could be a meter between you. And then lastly, if you really don't want to do either of those, why you wouldn't want to do a fast pass for free, I don't know. There is standby available, but you're going to be looking through hundreds of people, plus all of the trees around the riverbank as well will be obstructing your view. So yes, you can do standby, but I don't know why you would want to. I would just get a fast pass, to be honest. So there you go. That's what I think about getting to see Fantasmic at Disneyland. If you prefer one spot or the other, then let me know. If you've got any questions because you're looking to go and you're still not sure, ask me in the comments below and I will answer. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.